All right, so welcome back to types of economies. In our last video, we talked about traditional economies and command economies and how either your customer belief systems or the government answer all four economic questions for you. And in this video, we'll be talking about the last two types of economies, market and mixed. All right, so a free market economy, all right, is one, back up for just a second, is one that your decisions are made by producers and consumers. So the people are the ones who answer your economic questions. So again, those economic questions are what's produced, how it's produced, how much, and for whom, who is going to receive all of this stuff. All right, a market economy kind of looks, sorry, wrong direction, kind of looks like this. All right, so here in the market economy, this is the New York Stock Exchange, or NYSE, that's what that means. All right, so this is the stock floor. So if you've ever heard that weird sounding bell, and we talked about the stock market in a little bit of detail here back in Unit 8, and we'll discuss it again in Unit 10 in just slightly more detail. So down here is where we buy and sell big pieces of corporations, okay, and larger companies. We'll talk about those in our next lesson. All right, but a large company kind of gets bought and sold here in a free market economy. You can just buy and sell what you want. You can make a business or close a business quickly and easily. You don't have to ask for government permission every time you do something. There's a free market economy, and both your needs and your wants are being fulfilled because the government is not in charge of everything, as with a command economy. The people are in charge of it. All right, so decisions are made by producers and consumers. So people who are producers create a good or make it, and consumers are would be someone who buys a good or uses a service. All right, and the balance between producers and consumers are kind of drive our unit on microeconomics. All right, so all four economic questions get answered this way. So producers and consumers, and the balance between the two of them, they answer our four questions. All right, so our advantages, and again, you can pause and write and then listen, however you feel comfortable doing so. All right, you get freedom of choice. When you go into a store, you can choose whatever you want to. You can buy whatever you want. The government is not going to be looking over your shoulder, seeing if you are actually buying the needs that your family is going to want from you. All right, you have freedom of choice. If I want to have ice cream for dinner, no one is going to stop me. If I want to go to the store and buy 6 packs of double stuffed Oreos, I can do so. Right? That doesn't mean I'm going to, but I have the choice if I want. All right, you also have private property. So you can own a business instead of the government owning a business, as with the command economy. All right, if you want to own the corner store, you can own the corner store. That's fine. You also have more choices. There's literally an entire aisle in the store for just potato chips and just for cereal. It's absurd, all right? We have all kinds of choices here in a market economy. This is probably going to sound more familiar to you than the last two types of economies because a market economy, in some shape or form, is what we have here in the United States. You also have higher quality, all right, because there's competition between stuff. If the government is the only business in the game, they do not have to worry about competition. They do not have to worry about lowering their prices down. They do not have to worry about making a higher quality product because nobody else is going to challenge them and make anything better. Here in the United States or in Japan or in parts of Europe, you have higher quality because there might be 5 or 6 different companies competing for you to buy their product, all right? So they're a higher quality. You want to buy the highest quality product at the lowest cost. You do have some disadvantages, though, to a market economy. There is extremely unequal distribution of wealth, right? So if you've heard of 1% of all people in the United States hold 85% of the national wealth, right? That is true. So the bottom 99% get to split 15% of the wealth amongst themselves. Here in the United States, you've probably also heard that we have an upper, a middle, and a lower class, right? And there are kind of different subgroups inside each class. So there's upper middle, lower middle class, or just middle in general. There are super elite upper class. There's, I guess, semi-upper class people who are bougie, but they're not as bougie as others, I guess. And then there's low middle class and upper lower class, which kind of is super complicated. But basically, some people are rich, some people are poor, some people are in the middle. Everyone is not poor together as with the command economy. Other disadvantages are survival of the fittest. All right, some people see this as an advantage. It just depends on your perspective. But basically, what this means, if your business dies, so let's say that you make a soda business and after 6 months you realize that you are not going to be able to pay the bills and have a profit at the end of the month, so you're going to have to close down your business. Too bad, so sad. The government is not going to come and bail you out. They are not going to help you out unless you are a giant corporation and Congress decides to help you out. But your little itty-bitty soda company is just not going to make it, all right? If it's meant to be, it will be, and if it's not, then oh well, you can try again, I guess, when you get some more money saved up, start a new business. All right, where does this happen? Here in the United States, the vast majority of parts of Europe, a super great country down here of South Africa. Japan is also a market economy, in South Korea. All right, and the last one we're talking about is a mixed economy. So every type of economy is mixed in some way, shape, or form. The government doesn't make every single choice for you. Your beliefs in government and customs don't make every single choice for you, and the people don't make every choice for you. Right? So basically, there is a balance between the people and the government making choices for you and answering the economic questions. All right? So essentially, every economy everywhere is a mixed economy in some way, shape, or form. All right, so some advantages here. There are support for financial losses. There are protections for consumers. So if your money gets lost in some way, or if you are not given a good or service that you paid for, all right, there is protection for you, and you can kind of recoup some of your losses. Minimum wage is an advantage. There's safe working conditions. Some disadvantages here are restrictions to your profit. So there could be government regulation for producers, as well as kind of telling you what you can and cannot do in order to profit in a mixed economy. So essentially, everywhere is a mixed economy, but Japan and in the United States and here in America, we look more like a market economy. All right, so if we talk about the three types of economies, just pretend like mixed doesn't really exist. All right. Everybody has a mixed economy in some way, shape, or form. All 194 countries in the world have a mixed economy. However, pretty much all the ones that we discussed in a market economy, they look the most like market, even though technically they're mixed, if that makes sense. All right, so here in a mixed economy, as in the United States, here's an example of kind of how this is mixed. We have the FDA, so the Food and Drug Administration. If you have any type of processed anything in a store, if you flip over the package and look on the back, there will always be a nutrition facts label on the back of the package or on the side, etc. Right? Because the Food and Drug Administration, which is run by the government, has issued that so that all producers and consumers, even if they are not run by the government, even if they're their own private thing, right? Let's say they were talking about like a box of Cheerios, right? Cheerios is made by General Mills, which is a corporation that's private. It's not run by the government. They can kind of make whatever cereal they want to, but they have to do what the FDA says on every single type of their cereal. All right. This is the current CEO of Apple in a factory. I think this is in China. Looking at types of iPhones. So the government has asked that people wear hats and protective eyewear and some kind of protective outer covering or jacket while you make that. That is a government regulation. Now, an iPhone, like this guy over here is the CEO, they can make however many they want to. They can make the iPhone X or whatever. They can make it with that super cool screen. They can make a phone with or without a headphone jack. That doesn't have anything to do with the government. However, the government does have regulations on what you can wear and like safety standards and things like that. All right. Or here at Amazon, right? This lady over here has logged her hours. She's got protective handwear on. She's got gloves on. I'm sure these little conveyor belts and all of this equipment inside of this facility has to be inspected by a government facility, but they can kind of do what they want at Amazon, but within the bounds of the government. So if that kind of helps you out with a mixed economy. All right, so those were our four types of economies. And here are our four factors of production. Okay, so when we produce something, when we make something, here are the four factors that we have to use. And you will see these on your final exam. All right, the first one is land. All right, so all the things that would be here if humans and all of the stuff that we make were sucked off of the earth just one fine day. All right, what would be left? what's everything that can be produced or made without humans, all right? You're going to see this on your final exam called natural factors. It is the same thing as land, all right? Don't let that confuse you. All right, so grass is going to grow even if people are not here. Cows are going to do their thing. Look at this little cow squad. I thought it was funny. All right, they're going to still hang out and be here even if humans are not. Oil is still going to remain inside of the ground. These are oil rigs, in case you were not sure. They're going to still remain inside of the ground even if people are not here on the planet. All right, and then here, trees are still going to grow even without humans being there. That's a thing. All right, labor is our next factor of production. This is also known as the human factor, so that's how you'll see it phrased over on your exam. All right, so our friends at Good Burger here, Bon Kui, our good friend, the guy from Amazon. This guy is the guy from Facebook. He's also the owner of Instagram because Instagram is an offshoot of Facebook. Labor is basically humans doing work. All right, so how the milk from that cow, which is land, a factor of production, how that becomes ice cream is labor. All right, so how humans take resources and create them into other things. Capital is all the stuff that humans make. All right, so how does that cow get into a patty to be put onto your cookout tray? All right, how does that milk from a cow be made into ice cream? How do you take plastic and other things that have some parts of natural factors in there? How do they make them into an iPhone or make them into a cash register? So capital is all the stuff that humans make. And then the last one is entrepreneurship. All right, so here's the guy from Tesla, Nikolai Tesla. Here are the people from Shark Tank, Steve Jobs, who is probably the most influential founder of Apple. All right, so these are our 4 factors of production, and you need all 4 of these in order to create a product.